A high-level delegation of 24 senior officials from United Nations regional offices across Africa arrived in Asmara on 24 January 2022 for a week-long working tour. The high-level mission to Eritrea, led by the UN Development Coordination Office's Regional Director for Africa, included 5 other regional directors representing the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, UN Economic Commission for Africa, UN Office on Drugs and Crime, UN Population Fund, and the World Food Programme. Others included 2 deputy regional directors from UNHCR and UNODC, and senior staff or representatives from IFAD, FAO, UN Habitat, UNDP, UNIDO, IOM, and WHO. On January 25, the government of the state of Eritrea and the United Nations held a new era of strategic partnership that will advance their shared aspirations for the people of Eritrea with the launch of the new Eritrea-UN Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework 2022 to 2026 at the Denton Hall in Asmara.
We are a member of United Nations. We play our role in United Nations. And as a member of United Nations, we have the right to cooperate, particularly on development areas, on different sectors. And in the past 30 years, as members of United Nations, we've been cooperating with United Nations. We've been implementing programs and projects.
Speaking on behalf of the delegation, Mr. Jacob El-Hilo, Regional Director for Africa and the UN Development Coordination Office, extended the UN's appreciation to the government of the state of Eritrea for its active leadership throughout the development of the new framework, which adopted a whole-of-government approach, leading to a robust document that reflects both government priorities and the SDGs.
As we gather this morning to mark an important milestone in the partnership between the government of the state of Eritrea and the United Nations through the symbolic launch of our new cooperation framework for the period 2022-2026.
Speaking during the launch of the cooperation framework the same day, Minister of Finance and National Development Mr. Gergish Tekle-Mikhael shared on the historical context of Eritrea, which has informed its development trajectory.
With Minister Georgis, Minister of Finance and National Development, we marked an important milestone. We were able to launch a cooperation framework which defines what I would call a new era of partnership with the government of the state of Eritrea for the next 5 years.
We had a very successful launch. We have a very good discussion with authorities in these countries, really articulating very well the vision of this country, the approach of this country to development, what are also the expectations in this very cooperation framework. So I think we have achieved our objective in coming to this mission.
The entire UN family came together to launch our new cooperation framework with the state, working across the entire UN system to see how we sustain, develop our relationship with the state to make a real difference in people's lives. We have a partnership framework with the state of Eritrea within UNODC. We're going to continue to develop on that. Our strategic vision for Africa, launched in 2020, will be our guiding light within UNODC on how we deliver real change to counter organised crime, terrorism, corruption, and all of the wider effects that these have across society. And our relationship with the state of Eritrea, embedded within the cooperation framework and the African Union 2063 agenda, will help us to make real change where it matters.
The new UN Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework comprises of 4 outcomes for implementation by the end of 2026.
So this cooperation framework is robust in the nature in which it is aligned to the national priorities. In developing it, we were very much guided by the National Charter, We were also very much guided by priorities that were presented to us by the government across a range of sectors. We were also guided, and there was no difference whatsoever with the strategic development goals. So it's an exciting document that has 4 pillars of support. One pillar which looks at essential quality basic services. Very important. Another pillar which looks at capacity development, strengthening capacity across government on the request of government. A third pillar which has its focus on the mainstay of the economy in Eritrea, agriculture, but recognizing we need to move beyond agriculture to look at diversified livelihoods. And a fourth pillar, which we would summarize as being the climate action pillar, where we are also venturing into an exciting area with government, particularly around renewable energy.
During the 5-day mission, the UN officials discussed a wide range of issues with government and development partners. These included fully utilizing the UN's resources to ensure optimal delivery in the new cooperation framework's priority areas: COVID-19 vaccinations, regional dynamics in the Horn of Africa, and the role Eritrea could play in fostering peace and security, regional trade integration, and Eritrea's perspectives on the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, human rights issues, climate action, and data for development.
It was, of course, a beginning of a very full program of engagement that we've been having since then with senior government officials, with development partners. We also had the opportunity to travel out of Asmara and visit sites where development programs have been implemented. The cooperation framework captures the collective contribution by the United Nations to work with the government and people of Eritrea in Eritrea's quest to realize the sustainable development goals. And in that context, you will have programs for basic service delivery support. You will have programs for capacity development. You will have programs also related to tapping Eritrea's natural resources that will contribute, of course, to supporting sectors such as health, education, and other basic services that the government is providing to the people of Eritrea.
I'm very optimistic. We have discussed with a number of the key ministries, and in fact we've been asked to put forward a short proposal at a high level outlining specifically the areas that we could engage with the government, and they will then reflect upon that, indicate specifically what they would like us to do, and then we will start a dialogue to refine that. We are optimistic, as I say.
We went to the field, we saw the work being done, we saw the commitment of the people of Eritrea to improve the well-being and quality of life of their people. So from our perspective, I think there is room for dialogue, for engagement, and at the end of the day, really, we want to improve the quality of life and the well-being of the people. And I think the government is committed to that. And as partners, we should engage, we should partner and achieve these targets and these goals.
On 27 January, the delegation traveled to the Dabub region of Eritrea, where they met with regional government partners and communities. The visit included key institutions such as the National Agricultural Research Institute, the Mendefera Hospital, which hosts the National Fistula Treatment Center, the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students Zoba Dabub branch, the Dwarwa and Araza Community Health Center, Araza Solar Photovoltaic Grid, the Aziab Dairy Farm, Logo and Misalam Dams.
One of the areas that we have discussed at length with the government of the state of Eritrea, which actually holds a lot of promises, particularly in view of COP27, which is going to be a very much an African COP focused on climate change adaptation, is the issue of investment in renewable energy and writ large on climate action. The government of Eritrea, together with, in partnership with UNDP, and also with the support of the European Union, has invested in a huge, a very large project in Areza on solar energy, renewable energy, which is providing access to energy, clean energy and affordable energy to more than 30,000 households, 2 large towns and 40 villages. This is just an example of what the partnership with the government can deliver shared prosperity, deliver progress all across the SDG.
To show the results, the achievement that Eritrea has been able to show, to demonstrate in saving children's lives, saving mothers' lives, and really showing that the drivers of success, as the regional health advisor or regional health officer said, there are 3. He mentioned the community approach, the engagement with communities, the outreach services. Number 2, political commitment. The government is engaged and ensures that supplies, equipment, human resource, medicines are available. And then finally he said the partnership. He mentioned this partnership between partners such as the UN, the government and the people of Eritrea. Those are the drivers for success, for the results that Eritrea has achieved in health. They are very impressive.
Members of the visiting mission were unanimous in their view that they had gained a better understanding of Eritrea's context, its unique development perspectives, and Eritrea's expectations of a reinvigorated partnership with the UN in this new era of cooperation.
It was an eye-opener. This is my first time in Eritrea, and for me to see the landscape, the people, the way the city, particularly Asmara, the heritage area, is remarkable to see. Something that is well kept, preserved, and ensuring that development is done in those areas in a sensitive manner in the cultural context. And I also, my visit to the ministry, I was able to see how the interventions that we've done some years back in developing the urban development policy is still being used and still managing development. Whilst on our trip, I was able to see the countryside, the intervention, the agricultural developments, the big infrastructure works that they've done, and the expertise, the local expertise that has gone into development there is remarkable and exemplary.
The level of capacity of the people of Eritrea, this is something that has impressed me quite a lot, and by the opportunities of this country in terms of tourism, in terms of investing in climate action, in terms of economic investments, private sector dynamism. We have, for example, visited one of the cheese factories on our way back from our field trip, and I've been impressed by the level of capacity, by the technology that has been invested. So there's, to me, it shows that there is space, there are opportunities for many more investments.
Eritrea's approach is unique, and we have learned so many best practices from the country that are shared with other countries. So we know that Eritrea has been making lots and lots of progress in especially in the control of communicable diseases, in reduction of child and infant mortality, and in the reduction of maternal mortality through commitment and dedication of the Minister of Health, the participation of the communities, the support of the partners. We the country has really made so much progress.
Very hospitable people, very people that are keen on self-determination, people that want to home grow their development, people that want to live a prosperous life just like other people elsewhere, people that are keen for inclusivity, that they do not want to leave anyone behind, be it for social services, be it economically. That is the impression I've gotten of Eritrea, and I think it is a pathway for self-determination.
I'm particularly excited that our leadership, our regional directors are in the country not just to witness the signing of this important cooperation framework, but to also take the time to leave Asmara and go outside Asmara to get a sense of what this will feel like and what it looks like in the field.
The government, in turn, agreed to address resource absorption issues and to scale up the implementation of programs in the new cooperation framework era, in line with the call for accelerated progress in the decade of action, with 8 years left to achieve the SDGs.
Eritrea is a country of opportunities and possibilities, and it's not about asking for information, but asking Eritreans, how is this information being used, and what support do you need from us to make the use of what you need?
So why does this matter? Peace, security, development. There is a clear nexus there. Organised crime, terrorism, corruption, they undermine society, they exploit society. And that's why working together, UNODC, the entire UN family and the state of Eritrea, we can make real change to help the people that we serve across the country.
The United Nations is a partner, is a trusted partner. UNDP is part of the United Nations family and looks forward to continuing working with the government of the state of Eritrea, also to help change this narrative. There is an opportunity. The SDGs offer an immense range of opportunities to show that Eritrea can champion the SDGs, and particularly the issue of the principle of leave no one behind. The state of Eritrea is very much committed to social justice. We could feel and we could understand the genuinity of this commitment. Eritrea is really walking the talk. It's really committed to the principle of leaving no one behind. This is something the United Nations can help communicate. The participation of Eritrea in the high-level political forum this July and the presentation of its voluntary national review report, it's an important moment where these stories, Eritrea championing women and gender equality, Eritrea championing climate action, access to renewable energy, and Eritrea championing the principle of leaving no one behind is our messages that can be shared in that context. And of course UNDP stands ready to support the government in sharing these messages and the good stories behind this.
Now that we have signed this framework from 22 to 26, I can assure you on behalf of the government that we will do our level best to implement the framework to the letter and spirit.
For me personally and my colleagues, what I expect to see is scale. Really impacting as many Eritreans as possible, working across government with the coordination of the Ministry of Finance and National Development with a new ambition to pick up the pace, a new ambition to scale up, a new ambition to go into priority sectors, investments, priority infrastructure, and to really be able to look back and be collectively proud that in the partnership with government, we were able to achieve a lot for this country. So I'm excited. So as the regional director said, Yakub Ali El Hilo, now the work begins. Now the work begins. It doesn't mean we haven't been doing anything, but like I said, scale, ambition, impact for people.
It is now our responsibility at the United Nations to ensure that all the capacities required, all the resources required to deliver on this package of partnership over the next 5 years. This runs from 2022 to 2026. It is now our responsibility to ensure that what we committed to do in this partnership with the government of Eritrea gets delivered.